Back in May 2019, I released a video saying that Nintendo is set for a record-breaking summer, and the Nintendo Switch is going to have the best games lineup for summer that we have ever seen in the industry. And while most of you guys were very positive and kind of saw what I was saying in the video, some of you guys thought it was hyperbole or that I was reaching a bit. But now we can fast forward all the way to September at this point, where a number of amazing games, first party wise and third party, have been released on the Nintendo Switch. I think it's safe to say that I was completely right about that. Now, if you go back, we can start back in June with Super Mario Maker 2. Then you can move to July with Fire Emblem Three Houses. Then you can move to August with Astral Chain. And then now here we are in September with The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, the remake. Now, all of those games that I just mentioned have at least an 87 average on Metacritic. Now, I looked back at pretty much all the different systems here, and I couldn't find one console manufacturer in the history of any of these different systems dating all the way back that have released 4 games within a summer period that had at least an 87 or more on Metacritic that qualify for reviews. So no indie games or anything like that, and most of those games weren't first party. These are all exclusives from Nintendo. That is absolutely incredible, and that's a record in its own right that people just aren't talking about it, well, unless you're a Nintendo fan and things like that. On top of it, you have stuff like the hardware that's also been released as well with the Nintendo Switch Lite. So if you combine everything, so we just talked about those 4 games, right? 87 or higher. Think about that. And then add on top of that games like Daemon X Machina, which got a lower score because of the story and the animations, but the gameplay is amazing. Same thing goes for a game like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Both of those were exclusives to Nintendo Switch, released in the summer period. But there's still even more to come. I guess this kind of falls right outside of summer, but still within September, you got another game like Dragon Quest XI-S Definitive Edition. You look at that, it is multi-platform, but there is a ton of exclusive content. But even if you remove that game and looked at the exclusives that I talked about, that's 6 games over the summer period within a June, July, August, September 4-month period that Nintendo just absolutely killed it when it comes to variety, when it comes to Metacritic, when it comes to content. Every single game that I just mentioned is packed full of enough content and extra features and things to keep gamers playing for hours on end. When I said that Nintendo was going to have a record-breaking summer, it wasn't just because I liked stuff like Fire Emblem or I knew that Platinum Games' Astral Chain was going to be amazing because it's Platinum Games. I said it because I saw everything else that was going on. I saw that the other systems really didn't have too much. Now, we're getting some good stuff with Code Vein and also Borderlands, and I think Call of Duty's coming. But for the summer months, there was really nothing. So when I said that there's going to be a record-breaking summer, and when I stated that they're going to have these amazing games, even though we didn't have review scores, and it was pretty much a month before Super Mario Maker 2 even came out, I wasn't just saying that just to say it. I knew that these games were going to be absolutely amazing, and I knew that Nintendo was targeting this summer because the competition really didn't have much else when it comes down to it, and this summer was absolutely nuts when it comes to video game sales for Nintendo. They pretty much won every single NPD over the summer by a large amount, and this dates all the way back to November of last year. But this summer, sales have never been better for Nintendo when it comes to summer sales. Heck, they were even reaching some of the sales periods that the Wii even had back in the day, which is always good if you can match any sales records for the Wii. So if you look at the breadth of what Nintendo did over the summer, and if you look at the auxiliary games, which we can kind of get into as well, I think it's pretty safe to say that Nintendo is that hero that sometimes the industry shuns, you know, but they're here. They are here, and they made their mark this summer. Look at some of the other stuff that came out as well, which I talked about in my video back in May, and I wanted to mention it as the auxiliary games. The games that help support stuff. Like, let's say you're not quite into Super Mario Maker, or you're not into Fire Emblem. Well, you're crazy if you're not into that. But let's just say you didn't pick up something like that, or even Astral Chain. Well, you have stuff like Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet that dropped this summer. You also have stuff like Dragon Quest Builders 2, which was published by Nintendo and also got great review scores. AI the Summoning Files that just released as well, that's getting fantastic review scores too. On top of that, you also had other games as well. It wasn't just those. There was a number of titles from first and third party to really just kind of support what Nintendo was trying to do this whole summer, which was pretty much just dominate the competition through in and throughout. And to be honest, all of the games that were released, I pretty much played every single one of those games in some way, shape, or form, with Dragon Quest Builders 2 getting review copies, playing on the channel. They were all great. This was pretty much the summer of fun, and look at how fast it went by when you have amazing titles to play. This record-breaking summer that Nintendo put out is unlike anything that I've seen in the history of gaming, and I've been playing games for like 30 years plus or something like that. I've been playing games for a long time, and I've never seen anything like this. Like I stated, I went back and I looked at some of the old school games and systems and stuff like that, and like I said, the biggest thing that we've ever gotten is kind of games that release in like May. You can kind of say, okay, summer-ish, and those are kind of like leading into the summer, and people are pretty much just playing that one game all summer, or maybe there's like another game that comes out or something like that. I know Octopath, we had that last year. Torna was at the end towards that as well, but there really just hasn't been anything as big as this, probably since Nintendo back in 2017, where they had stuff like ARMS. They also had Splatoon 2. They had Pokken Tournament, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That's probably the next best summer that we've had. So Nintendo somehow one-upped that. Think about those games: ARMS, Splatoon 2, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and Pokken Tournament for a summer. That's also a really good summer, plus other games as well. But this one was, I think, even much better because of games like Fire Emblem, which is, in my opinion, a better strategy RPG than Mario plus Rabbids. And then having stuff like Link's Awakening, which is an S-tier remake when it comes down to it. And also Super Mario Maker 2, the variety within the games, the type of games, was just unlike anything that we've seen before. And like I said, the review scores and the Metacritic and what people are saying and what gamers are saying are 100% backing that up. Because like I said, I haven't been able to find any type of console manufacturer throughout the history, which the only one would be like Nintendo, but Ubisoft published Mario plus Rabbids, but you know, it has Mario in it. I can't find anybody else that had that good of review scores for first-party content. That was the best summer that I could ever find, and Nintendo came out swinging with it. So going forward, you're looking at a number of different games that are still coming out for the rest of the year. Dragon Quest XI S Definitive Edition, that's going to be dropping next week. Pokemon, Luigi's Mansion, Ring Fit is also coming out. All of those games are going to be for the rest of the months of this year. So overall, while Nintendo's year kind of started slow, and I think that's where some of the skepticism kind of came from, even though we have release dates for a lot of these games, people were skeptical because the first half of the year didn't have as much content as some would have liked. But I saw what was happening from June and on. Nintendo was packing that summer and the end of the year for the fiscal sales year results, and they are not disappointing when it comes down to it. Now, the crucial thing for Nintendo is heading into this holiday. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch Lite, that's dropping. Definitely going to be talking about that some more on the channel. That looks to be like it's going to be pretty good when it comes down to sales. And then on top of that, you're looking at some of the other stuff. How is Luigi's Mansion going to do? The new Ring Fit adventure game, Pokemon. You also have some big third-party games coming as well. So you have stuff like Overwatch and also The Witcher 3, which are huge third-party games coming over to Nintendo systems. Nintendo didn't get big third-party games like that this deep into the life, 2.5 years plus, going on 3 years. They didn't get that with the Wii U. They didn't really get games like that on the Wii. I mean, they got certain versions for it, but it wasn't the PS3 or the Xbox 360 version of the game. 3DS didn't get games like that either. So this is the first time, probably since the GameCube, that Nintendo is seeing these type of big third-party games this far into its lifespan. We have not seen that in a while. The Wii U did get some of those big Call of Duties and stuff like that at launch, but after launch and the sales dried up, we didn't see that at all. So once again, it just kind of contributes to this record-breaking year that Nintendo is having, and I can see them doing a lot better too going into the holiday season with all of these games that have dropped. People don't have the money to buy all of that stuff. So there's going to be a lot of these sales for these big games that came out this summer. Stuff like Astral Chain, Super Mario Maker, Fire Emblem. A lot of that stuff's going to do well in the holiday season as well as people catch up. But what are you guys' thoughts when it comes to Nintendo's summer here? What did you guys think about the video that I had before? I'll have a link if you didn't watch it. Go back and watch it. And what do you guys think about Nintendo's summer and what they did? Is this their best summer of all time? Is this the best summer of all time for gaming? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go to check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.